Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This will be the second part when we analyze the chart of a sportsman, basketball legend, Michael Jordan. And in this part we will go through this big affliction in his chart and also how they are cancelled and nullified. In spite of these initial challenges we were discussing in the first part, if you have not seen the first part, I'm really recommending it. And in this we will see the affliction, the dosha, and the banga, the cancellation, how the problems in the chart are cancelled. This will be very important lesson because we may meet these combinations in our chart or our dear ones, so we have to be prepared to analyze them correctly. So let us focus on the bad placement of the meta yoga. We have here one meta yoga, and let's see the bad position in the house and also the debilitation planet. We have four such situations, two in the main chart called Rashi, two in the Nawamsa chart. So we have Mars and Moon debilitated, very weak. This is the weakest position of the planet. It's showing very low situation. The low situation usually is connected to the ideals, but can also indicate the fall in the character or in the monetary situations. And the Mercury is in the 8th house, the 1st and 4th lord. So we will also talk about this nature of the 8th house. In the Nawamsa, we have additional problem because the Mercury and the Venus are also debilitated. So the debilitated planet in the Nawamsa, they are like Avishnu. They are showing the problems with the Dharma, but also may show some dips in the fortune. Then we have the Graha Malika Yoga. This is the Meta Yoga. Meta Yogas are those which are influencing all other yogas in the chart. So the Graha Malika is in that category because it can totally dominate all the affairs of the chart. And it's starting with the 6th house, which is usually showing a person who is into spiritual life. So also there is something wrong here. So we have debilitation in the Rashi and Nawamsa, Mercury in the 8th house, and we have also this Meta Yoga. These are the dosha. Now let's skip that westernized version and let's try to approach all of this with the traditional approach. So the banga is like cancellation, is like undoing something which is initially diagnosed as challenging. So now we will go to this parivartana, position of Aruda, and times of the 8th house and debilitation, and the situation where the 8th house or debilitation may play in favor for us. So what is the first thing when it comes to the meta yogas, which is changing the situation? The parivartana, because we have the Mars and the Moon, they are having parivartana. So suddenly it's not the spiritual Graha Malika, which is showing the person will go in that direction, but it changes to the 2nd house, which is showing that the person will be the part of society and the person will strive for the material success. So this one thing is totally changing the outcome and the prediction. For Moon debilitation, we need to pay attention to the Nicha Banga Yoga. This is the cancellation of debility. So for the Moon, planets which can grant such status of cancellation of debility is Mars and Venus. But they have to be in Kendra, to Lagna on the Moon. And we can see Venus is in 7th house. So by relationship, by marriage, by anything with that Venus grants in the 7th house, this Moon is taken out of the debility. And because Moon has 2 planets, this is like 50% of cancellation. So again, it's not debilitated, it's cancelled. 50% is cancelled. So we can see it as a neutral sign or enemy sign now. What about Mars debility? When Mars is debilitated, we need to see Moon, Jupiter and Saturn. And Jupiter is in the Kendra from the Moon. We will see later that this whole chart is centered around this Jupiter and Sun. This is the central yoga in the chart. And because this is so beautiful yoga, 7th lord, 10th lord in the 9th house connection of Kendra to the Trikona, which is showing the big blessing and this international career of the 9th house. Therefore, this whole chart is really showing its really strength if we know where to look. And now without Nawamsa, we couldn't make the big banga or cancellation because that same Mars is in the own sign in the Nawamsa. So if planet is debilitated in the Rashi, but is strong in Nawamsa, it's again totally changing the situation. So that is the big extreme nature of astrology, that if you don't know some rules, this can totally change the outcome. So our initial diagnosis was that the Mars is very weak, and now we see that Jupiter is taking it out, and 10th Lord and 7th Lord through the career life and taking part in some contest, because 7th house is taking part in contests, which can be a war and sports, things like that. And Mars is very strong in the Nawamsa. Now, when planets are afflicted or are in the dusthana, then they may be rescued through the dispositor, which is well placed, or through a Shubha yoga. If there is some affliction, but we have an association of other benefics, then the situation is not fatal. It can be really improved. There may be some initial problems, but then it will improve. So for example, if you have some health problematic yogas, but there are some two benefics in Shubha yoga or a joint, then the situation will be improved. It's not fatal, it's not problematic. You will get out from this problem. So based on that, we can see that two most beneficial planets, Jupiter and the Venus, they are creating this super nice cushion. They are like trying to hug this Mercury and tell him, don't worry, it will be okay. So Venus, 7th house, and Jupiter, 7th Lord, in the 9th, the best houses and the best planets are there. Also the Saturn, which is afflicting that Mercury, is also in the own sign, so it's also having that Venusian nature. So this Mercury is very much helped. The situation is not fatal. The one will go through the problems, go through the initial challenges, and can really improve. Now, Mercury is in the Nawamsa in the Kendra. Also, we have to remember that the Mercury has this nature to bring the Banga to himself, because Mercury is also lording the Virgo. So the planet which is loading the exaltation, loading the debilitation, and planet which exalts in the Rashi of debilitation for the planet in concern, these three planets are bringing the Raja Banga. So Mercury can recover by his own nature if he's in the Kendra. So therefore, this also is a good point for rectification that Mercury is in the Kendra in the Nawamsa. And now the biggest part coming from our tradition is that sometimes the debilitation is welcome when it comes to a huge level of finances or success. Exalted and debilitated planets, according to Jaimini Rishi in the most famous text, Jaimini Upadesha Sutra, are the givers of Shrimant, which is the financial fortune. And also there is the Nadi Shloka, Nadi texts. Nadis are the older Vedic texts, and it's said that without debilitated planet in the Kali Yuga, so in the current time, it is not possible to get some big recognition in the financially or success-wise. But this planet must be in special places, otherwise we also know that the debilitation can be very debilitating. So 4th from Sun is showing wealth. If that is debilitated in the Rashi or Nawamsa, then it's bringing huge wealth. And even more so, debilitated planet related to 11th from Aruda Lagna is bringing huge success and wealth. So here we have this Venus is fulfilling these two conditions. Sun is in Aquarius, so Venus is 4th from Sun, and debilitated in the Nawamsa, bringing the huge wealth. And Venus is in 11th from Aruda Lagna. So we have planet in the 11th from Aruda Lagna, which is debilitated in the Nawamsa. We need to look at this from completely other perspective now. We can say that without this debilitation of a Venus, person would not achieve such big success, especially in the entertainment, which is very much controlled by the Venus. And now, as we said, the focus yoga is the Sun and Jupiter. If the main yoga would be somewhere else, then the whole ojas of life, then the whole prana, the life energy would be somewhere else. But because it's all hanging on that Sun and Jupiter, therefore we can say that in spite of these initial challenges, the person will attain big success. So we can see how the cancellation of debility, how the parivartana of the Graha Malika yoga, how the Shubha yoga, right? And at the end, this welcomed state of planet, which is debilitated for specifics, for the special positions, how this completely changes now the final judgment of this chart. Now the chart looks totally different. We have these initial challenges we were talking about in the part 1, but also for this financial and career-wise success, we have all those conditions there. Okay, so that's gonna be it for today. I hope you find this video interesting and informative. If you do, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up. It really helps the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. Subscribe for more videos like this. For one-on-one session, please hit me up with this email here. Join our Discord community. And if you are still hungry, then please consider watching this one.